Everyone, Daniel Hashi here with Hashi Trades. So, because this election is so close, I want to dive a little bit deeper into it and talk about what could possibly happen using a key model which is developed by Alan Lichtman, a history professor, and he's had a great history with this key model that he developed. He has been accurate in predicting the outcome of the presidential election since 1984. So that's pretty interesting data. He did predict that Trump would win, which a lot of people and a lot of other election predictions did not do. So I'm very curious to see what he has to say about this, and let's look into it. So he uses a 13 key system, which we can see right here. And basically, in the 13 key system, there needs to be that the president in question has the majority of these keys in his favor. Now, if he has six or more keys not turned in his favor, he will not win the election. And as of now, Trump has seven keys turned against him. Now, let's look at what those keys are. Key number one, the mandate key, Republican lost the midterm elections in 2018, 2 years into his presidency. Short-term economics, well, we're in a recessionary period right now because of the coronavirus pandemic. That is not in his favor. Number three key, long term, there's been a lot of negative growth this year. Businesses are shut down, cruises are shut down, airlines are in trouble, Boeing's in trouble. Restaurants and hospitality is barely operational. So, definitely, those two economic factors are not looking good for Trump. Social unrest. There's a lot of division in America right now. Even like we have like the whole George Floyd protests, and we had protests against police and law enforcement. Even the pandemic itself, like there's a lot of divide between how different states are dealing with it, how it should be dealt with. Should we practice social distancing? Is mask wearing necessary? There's just so many things that the average American and many Americans do not agree on. There's so much division and a lot of civil unrest. Trump's scandal earlier this year, before coronavirus hit America, the Democrats were trying to get Trump impeached because of these sexual harassment allegations. So, Trump's impeachment was based on two accusations. Number one was that he was trying to make contact with the Ukraine to assist him in helping him win the 2020 election. And then number two was that he was obstructing Congress's right to investigate him. So those are the two criminal offenses that they were investigating him for and trying to impeach him for. Okay, moving on. So that was a thing that's definitely not in his favor. The foreign thing, the military, we haven't had successful military presence abroad. So that's a key that's turned against him. And the last one is the charisma. So according to, and I just want to say I'm not biased toward any party or candidate, but according to Key 12, he doesn't have the incumbent charisma because he only appeals to a narrow base. Given all this information, Professor Alan Lichtman is predicting that Biden will win the presidency. So now, okay, let's think. What does that mean for the stock market? This is, again, just my opinion. I'm not a financial professional. I'm only doing this for entertainment purposes. I believe that there will be different sectors that will benefit based on each president, and some of them do overlap. So, if Trump were to be reelected and this model was proven incorrect for the first time since 1984, I know he would push to have the economy run as much as possible business as usual. So, that would benefit food and hospitality industry, the airline industry, travel industries. He'd want to just try to reopen America as much as he can. I know that like Republican emphasis wise, healthcare would be privatized and kept to be expensive. The universal healthcare would not be a push. So private healthcare companies would still be benefiting and have a lot of long-term growth opportunities. I think something that both of them would push for, which benefits pharmaceutical companies, is developing a vaccine, developing a cure for the virus. That's something that everyone is interested in, no matter their party. So the pharmaceutical companies would really see a benefit from that. Um, I think tech is 50-50. I know the Republicans kind of mentioned, there's been a lot of appearances by Mark Zuckerberg defending Facebook's privacy policy and advertising and data, user data, things like that. Democrats would not, I think they would not push that as much. Sustainable energy, like solar energy and electric vehicles, that would be something to really pursue more for long term investment if Biden were elected, because he really wants to make everyone's carbon footprint as small as possible and push for clean energy. So that would be definitely a good long term investment under Biden presidency. Let's see. So we talked about food, beverage, hospitality, and travel, and sustainable energy. All of these things, healthcare as well. So yes, those are some, and the pharmaceutical companies. That's something to look out for. And but we don't know. So let's just see how the market reacts. I think overall, one major thing to think about is when to invest in these things, because if Biden is elected, since he wants to implement a 40% capital gains tax, the market will most likely, in my opinion, see a lot of downside in the first few months of his presidency. So you would want to wait until after that the storm has calmed a bit to do your long-term investment. You don't want to buy at the top. Not that now is the top, it's definitely not, but buy it high and sell lower. You'd rather just wait, exercise some patience, and find a good entry price for your long term investments if you haven't started yet or you don't know when to. Wait until things have calmed down. Definitely, because right now, the number one thing in the market is uncertainty and volatility. And those are not things that a long term investor really wants to see. And even for traders, it's been difficult. So, we're all just kind of on the sidelines waiting to see what happens. But if Professor Alan Lichtman is correct, wait for that stock market crash before you get in your long term investments. You want to go bearish on the market, that would make a lot of sense to me. That's what I would personally do. So, anyway, we will know in about 3 or 4 days, maybe, if everything goes according to plan. I'm so excited for this upcoming week, though. Let's just watch and see what happens. Thanks for watching, and please let me know your thoughts on the 13 key model